Nate, Nate, this is where you come off of chat. If I hear you one time in the class, I'm going to disable you. Do you hear?
I literally got this old piece. Okay, I got this old piece skin.
Welcome to another episode. It seems like I just saw you guys like yesterday for some reason. Did the week go by that quickly? Man, I don't know. It feels like time is speeding up. Anyway, I looked on the work. Let me see. What was the last one I marked? Exercise 2. It was pretty good. I see. Well, I haven't seen anybody that failed. I think it's pretty much impossible to fail at exercise, right? And it's
exercise 2. You mean the sketches, sir?
right.
Illustrator sketch?
Sketch. No, that is Photoshop. Hold on. Am I right? Yes, that is the Photoshop enhancement of the sketch. All right. I'm looking forward to exercise 4, which is seeing how you guys tackle the coloring of the elevation. That's sometimes a little tricky because with scale, especially with the plan. So I am gonna see how well you guys.
That's an video. Oh.
All right, so today we are doing 3D. So we're gonna leave 2D behind. And we're gonna start venturing into the world of 3D, right? So the first thing I wanna introduce you to, we're gonna be talking about 3D at least for the next, maybe 2 classes, thereabout, because the assignment 1 is going to require you to do some modeling. So we want to talk a little bit about modeling. I have here a example of the presentation. What is 3D? Right, here we go. Bring this up. All right.
Gary, yeah, burn up or something. Sorry.
Yes, we do have to remember to mute when we are not. All right. Okay, so I want to just point out to you, this slide is a slide we're going to be going through over the next couple of weeks. I'm just going to start with the first 2. And in the world of 3D, the interesting thing about 3D is that technically we are all experts already. I don't know, you guys watch a movie sometimes, or you might see somebody else do some 3D and you can look at it and you say, oh, that don't look real, or that looks real, or that looks sci-fi. And the reason you can make these kind of descriptions is that you have already been, inaugurated with what exactly is real and what is not, since you were a baby till now. That's why when you look on this image, for example, this image that I'm showing you, you can say, oh, you know, perspective and depth, and you can know all of these things, even if you don't know the scientific word for it. So the first thing to appreciate is that we perceive space in 3D because that's how we have been socialized all our lives. So it's going to be pretty natural for us to navigate the 3D, or at least to understand what is real from what is not real. Things like shadow, depth, texture, these are all like scientific terms that I'm hoping we can get familiar with over the next couple weeks. And it's kind of interesting because you already know this stuff. You do. And I'm going to prove that you already know this stuff when we go to the lecture session. It's just that you might not have think about it in a scientific way. Let's put it that way. So in the practical session though, I want to focus on how we transition from 2D into 3D. And I want to introduce the linkages between the two realms. So we can see that 2D is not really that far from 3D, right? I have some videos to show, some interesting videos, but I'm going to leave that for the lecture session. For the practical session, I'm just going to focus on the exercise. And guess what? This week's exercise is one of those that is short, but long, if you know what I mean. So, you know, I'm going to go through an example with you guys. And then you're going to do your version of the exercise, right? And as usual, I won't rob you of doing the more interesting version.
Sarah, one question before you head into the the Mr. Campbell downloaded Style Builder 2020, SketchUp 2020, and Layout 2020. I tried to open SketchUp, but it has this arrow thing on it. Yeah.
So it's not working?
And then, no, I pressed open. It's not opening.
Well, hold on. With SketchUp, at least for this session, you can actually access it through the browser. But hold on, let me do that in a little bit. Let me first transition us from 2D to 3D.
All right, sir. Go ahead.
So we have here, I'm going to bring up a version of SketchUp here. Let's bring up a plan view in millimeters. Did it open? I hope it opened. Okay. So we have here on the left Illustrator, and we have here on the right SketchUp, right? And there we go. And when we're using Illustrator, let's see, the last two exercises. So exercise 3, was it? That was the easy one when we do the arrows and those things. We learned a bit about the pen tool and how we can use the pen tool in Illustrator to, you know, draw like shapes and stuff like that. And we can close it and we can apply a fill, like any color, like here, like maybe like blue. We can apply a fill, and we can use the white arrow, which is a direct selection tool, to move the points of the fill. So, you know, and that was kind of the mode of how Illustrator works, right? So in SketchUp, it is kind of similar as well. So I'm gonna go to a parallel projection, and I'm gonna go to a top view, right? This is just like show and tell, so don't worry about following. But SketchUp also has a pen tool. Well, in this case, it's really called a pencil tool. Let me set up my mouse so that I can zoom in. So it's called a pencil tool, which is this tool right here, right? That's that. Illustrator has this pen tool, which is that tool right there. But I want you to notice the similarities between them, because that's a pencil tool right there. I could get my pencil tool and, oops, here. I could draw a similar kind of a thing. There we go. And it feels like pretty much the same way. I mean, it's almost the same thing. I could use my move tool to highlight a point and move the point around. And it's really just changing a fill. It also has line. So if you notice, zoom out a bit here. So if you notice here, I can highlight the line, just like I can highlight the line in Illustrator, and I can move the line around. And the important thing to understand about how 3D works, it's made up of points, lines, and faces. Funny enough, notice it's the same thing with Illustrator. Illustrator is also made up of points, which they call anchors. It's made up of lines, which they call paths. There's a path there. And it's made up of faces, which we can fill with color. So right away, we can kind of glean some similarities between the two. Now, here is where they differ. In SketchUp, even though we're also dealing with vectors in SketchUp, we are able to now orbit. And look at this in a three-dimensional way. So now we're able to now grab the same pencil tool in this case, and instead of drawing flat on the paper, we can now draw vertically up in the we can draw vertically up in the air and back down. So now things begin to get a little bit interesting, because if I rotate this around, you see, it's almost like, okay, it was a flat piece of paper, but now we can draw on a total different axis altogether. And in Illustrator, I mean, we're pretty much stuck on a flat surface. There is no drawing in 3D. So this is where now 3D it becomes important, but you can kind of see where it 2D behind and gives you the ability to draw in a total different axis altogether, right? So that is, let me just orbit this around. So you can kind of see that there. Now, the other interesting thing about 3D is that we haven't really made much progress as it relates to representing 3D. And even though nowadays we have 3D glasses and, you know, 3D printing and all of this stuff is 3D, at the end of the day, we're really looking on this on a two-dimensional screen, meaning the screen that you're looking on is flat, but you're looking on a 3D object. I remember in class, we were speaking about, how would we represent things 3D? Like, for example, because we're looking on 2D, on a 2D screen, we're looking on 3D on a 2D screen. What if we had to interact with 3D with a 3D interface, 3D, you get it? And what would that be like? In our conversation, we came up with, what was it again? Minority Report. Anybody remember that movie? Anybody remember the scene where I had the 3D computer? I forget that I'm actually not sharing. So let me share my screen. I totally forgot that I'm not sharing my screen. All right, there we go. Nice and big, right? So, so if you think about it, if you look on, let's go over here to the desktop, right? Anybody remember this scene in Minority Report where all the computers and stuff were in full 3D, and the way how you interact with the computer was actually in 3D? Pretty cool stuff.
Can you grab that?
And everything was all like hand gestures. Now this is like a 3D screen while you're doing 3D. Not like our primitive day-to-day when we're looking on 3D on a 2D screen, But, I always have this interesting discussion that this seems like a lot of work because, I mean, everything is on a 2D screen and you press keyboard and buttons. But, I mean, this now you have to be like moving your hand around. I mean, one day of using this computer and pretty much is like a workout.
Send a DCPD blue and white.
It's probably not
Perimeter and tunnel
necessarily a
line.
bad thing. But anyway,
Yeah, I don't need some twink from the Fed.
that was an interesting
Right now.
convo. So anyway, back to our 3D
Check in with the papers ahead at Ford.
on a
See if the neighbors
2D
knew where
screen.
they went. Check
So this is where we're at with technology, right? Using our laptops and our monitors and our phones and all of these things to show us 3D. We will continue that conversation in the lecture session, but in any case, what we're going to do now is use SketchUp to kind of explore how we can do this kind of thing. And we're going to use SketchUp to just to kind of warm ourselves up with how we draw in SketchUp and then transition to 3D. So with that said, we're talking about the software now. Now, if you Google SketchUp, like if you just go to a website and type in SketchUp here, right?
Sir, which program are you using for this class?
Then you are now
SketchUp.
noticing the searches, you will see
SketchUp,
that
right? I don't have that.
SketchUp free, that's another version of SketchUp. And that is fully available for you to use in a browser. So you just go to SketchUp free and you go to start modeling. And you can basically do what I'm doing now on your browser. Now, in addition to that, you can also download SketchUp free, which is called, no, I think they renamed it to SketchUp free. I don't remember what it was before. But anyway, you can download it. That's all I'm saying. The SketchUp Pro now, I'm going to say, let's try to see if you can get your hands on that for the next class, right? But for right now, SketchUp free, preferably the downloaded version, I would say is better, right? So with that said, I want you to fire up SketchUp. I'm going to close this and not save it. I'm going to open. I'm going to open up SketchUp here.
So you're going to tell me how to open it now or after class?
Sir,
Mr.
Okay,
Brian?
everybody with me so far?
No, sir.
sir, excuse me. Sir, excuse me.
Sir?
Sir,
Oh, hold on. Is my thing working okay? Let's see. Wait a minute. Speaker. Oh. Sorry, my speaker was muted and I didn't realize. I'm wondering, how comes I'm not hearing anybody?
yes, sir. So as I was saying, right?
Yeah, anyway, what are you saying?
So can like extend this day to like tomorrow so I can download the software.
Well, even though SketchUp is basically available in a browser, come on.
Oh, it is. I didn't know that. Hold up, sir. You say I can go online and use it?
Yeah, you can. You can literally use it in a browser. It's a little different though than the version that I have.
Yeah, well, I need to download it, sir. My Wi-Fi is.
Oh. Well, as usual, you know, if you are begging on behalf of your team, I can give you guys till tomorrow to hand in.
Okay, let's make on behalf of the team. Right, let's do that. All right, thanks, sir.
Okay. All right. So everybody fire up SketchUp. So when you fire up SketchUp, okay, your intro screen might be a little different than mine. This is which right now. This is 2020. Notice that the first thing you're presented with is different templates. and I can go to more templates and I see a whole bunch there. I'm going to choose architectural millimeters, right? So that is the template that I'm going to use. And when your SketchUp opens, I'm going to just reset my user interface. This is what it should look like.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Can we get the fancy pixels today?
Can we get this?
Yeah, the fancy pixels today kind of blurry.
All right. I didn't do that. Oh, okay. Better?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, good, good.
Sir, we have to log in if we're using the online one.
Yeah. That's the thing. But
Okay.
right, if you don't want to download it,
No, remember I have it downloaded, but it's not opening.
it's not opening.
You said
Yeah.
you were going to tell me what to do after.
Okay, so
This
I
is
don't know
what
if
the
it's
online
after
version looks like.
next we're on the side.
Yeah.
But the online version, does it have the tools? It does have the tools. The icons are a little different, but you can survive with it. You can survive.
Excuse me, sir. When I click on architectural, I don't know what the next step is.
Oh, when you click on the architectural template, it should pop up like this. Or if yours, maybe you have to click on it and choose OK.
No. Should I wait? Hold on. I see one with inches. Should I choose millimeters or centimeters?
Millimeters.
Okay.
Right.
I heard him use this something here. Try SketchUp.
All right. Now, when you open SketchUp, this is what it would look like. Right away to orbit, you hold the middle mouse button. To zoom, you wheel the mouse wheel, and to pan, you hold Shift and middle mouse button. Shift and middle mouse button. You see, change to the hand tool. If you don't have a mouse, which shouldn't be the case, but if you happen to not have a mouse and you have to use the icon, then this is the move orbit. The orbit, which is this, and pan and zoom. Right, which is kind of annoying to do. Okay. Now, notice whenever you start the architectural template, you should that you have a scaled figure here, and this scaled figure is, because architecturally we might want to do sketches, and we have something to go as scale. Now, right off the bat, SketchUp to this date I use to conceptualize. It is an awesome tool for doing that. And if you have already learned Illustrator, then SketchUp should be super easy for you. All right. We're going to do one little activity before we dive into the exercise. So I want you guys to follow me, for those of you who have the SketchUp ready, right? So first thing, let's get rid of this person here. I'm going to just click on her and press delete. Then I'm going to go up to camera. Not camera. I'm going to go up to, where is it? View. I'm going to go to toolbars. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this toolbar here, because this toolbar is pretty limited. This is what your SketchUp will open with by default. So I want you guys to go to view and go to tools. In tools, you notice, or toolbars rather, notice you're seeing the getting started toolbar. So we want to disable that. So uncheck that and your toolbar will disappear. And I want you to check the large tool set. All right, so first thing, we want to disable getting started and go to our large tool set. I want to introduce This is how I want you to start using
Sorry, sir. I never catch that. Can you do it again, please?
You go to View, go to Toolbars, and enable your large tool set, and disable your Getting Started tools.
Sir, for the persons using online, how do we actually open SketchUp?
Online, if you are using online, so you have to have a sign in, and then you're going to click the Start Modeling tab. So you go to Start Modeling. Okay.
I don't see any start modeling. I see welcome Alessandra. My products, members, plan settings, billing information, payment history.
Hold on. This is what you see?
I saw that at first.
Okay.
And then I signed in.
And you go to SketchUp?
I press Sky. Yeah. That's what I pressed.
And oh no, you don't want to. Okay, you could go here and go to. No, we don't. This is the demo for the pro version. Where are we now? Okay, here it is. When you go under products, it's SketchUp for web.
Okay, so let me go back.
Or you have SketchUp free. Let me see if that one is okay. There it is. SketchUp free under products. SketchUp free. Now they used to have a version that you could download, but do they still have that anymore? Nope. They don't have the downloadable version anymore, but I mean, you can still find it. Let me see if I can point you in the direction. It used to be called, anybody remember what it used to be called? It used to be called like SketchUp something. SketchUp W something. I don't remember what it's called. W SketchUp Make, right? SketchUp Make. That was it. Let me see if that is still available to you. Yes, here it is. So what you can do, let me get you this link. Copy, and I'm just going to paste it in the chat.
Sure, just tell me where just type in, because I'm using another computer. I'm using two computers.
Oh, okay, I get it.
So it's SketchUp what?
SketchUp.com/download. Let me see if I can direct you there. I don't let me see if I can direct you there. Where did I go to get to this page? I don't know where I went to now.
You went to products,
no,
and then SketchUp free.
No, but that is to use the online version, because what happened, they stop SketchUp Make, they stop distributing that one. So that's why I wanted to go by a link. I don't know where they have SketchUp Make. So any chance you can just use the link I give you, cause see it here, and then you can download SketchUp Make, which is the local version.
All right, send the link.
So it's in the, oh, there it is.
Thank you.
So there it is, SketchUp/download/all. Okay, for those of you who totally can't download it, then that's when I would use the web version. But the web version, the icons are different, so you know, you might be digging around to see what I'm doing. Okay, so we have opened the large tool set. Now that's the first thing. Now, next thing I want you guys to do, I want you to go to camera and switch to parallel projection.
So before you move on, can you repeat Can you repeat the steps? I lost connection.
Right, so you're gonna go to view, and first thing I did was to turn on the toolbars on the left by going to toolbars, and then go to large tool set to turn that on. Then the next thing, I went to to camera, and I go to parallel projection, and additionally I go to top view. Right now.
Download the 2017 one, sir.
Yeah. So parallel projection and top view. That's what I want you guys to get. Everybody there?
Yes, sir.
Now, to kind of feel this out, what I want you guys to do is we're going to start with something basic, right? And kind of imagine, notice that even when I put the toolbars of Illustrator and SketchUp together, they're kind of similar. In Illustrator, you have these two selection cursors, and in SketchUp, you have one. There's a paint bucket tool, there's an eraser tool, there's a pencil tool. They have a shape tool as well. So there are a lot of things that you can see. You can pick up a lot of similarities. And what's really happening is that a 3D application is really made up of line work and vectors, just like a 2D vector application. So I want us to start off by drawing something simple like, how about the letter T? If we were to draw the letter T, we'd go to the pen tool. And I want you to just kind of feel this out.
Sir, before you move on, how do you get rid of the person again?
Just delete them. Click on them and delete them.
Okay.
You don't even have to do that. Well, okay, let's do that.
This file does not have an app associated with it for performing this action.
Well, when you try to download it?
When I try to open it.
That's a weird message to get. You should get a...
I got it too.
Let's see. Okay, so the rest
I
of it,
downloaded.
try and draw out the letter T using the pencil tool. All right. So try and remain in top view. So if you accidentally rotate it, just go to view and switch back. Go to camera and switch back to top. Okay, now regarding the SketchUp. So you downloaded this one, SketchUp Make. Hold on, you downloaded the 64-bit version, right?
Lord have mercy.
Windows, not the Mac OS one.
My bad.
Okay, so make sure you download the Windows version. All right. Now, anybody draw this yet? I want you to kind of feel this out.
Sir, I'm not finding top view. Oh, name on.
Right, you go to camera, make sure you're on parallel projection, and the standard views, you're on top view.
Okay.
Remember, hold shift and middle mouse button to pan, mouse wheel to zoom, right? Now, notice when you are drawing it, a couple things. Notice how it snaps to the direction, and it snaps in either green, that green there, or it snaps to red. Notice when you're drawing, it kind of gives you it snaps to angles as well. When you were drawing the bottom part of the T, to come up back, for some of you notice that you see this little ghosted line here to tell you that it is now in alignment. Yeah. So if you hover here, don't click, but hover, over this point and take your time to draw it like that. Notice that it aligns it to you. And the same here, notice it doesn't align, but as soon as you hover to this point and draw it down. So those are the things I want, the little subtleties that I want you to notice while you're using the pencil tool. And it's kind of similar to the pen tool. And at the end of the day, you're really drawing a bunch of pathways. Notice when you attach the very last path, it turns into a solid. Now, if I wanted to move this around, I would have to use my move tool, which is here. And the move tool is what allows me to, for example, select a point here, and I can adjust it like that. I can select the face. Of course, that will move the whole thing. Or I could select the line here. Now, when I select, I just click once, release, and move the mouse button. So I can move faces, edges, or vertices. Understand? Now, for those of you who just are familiar with Illustrator and you've just quickly whipped this up, I want you to just try something slightly more complicated. Let's try the letter E. I want you to try to sketch that out. And I want you to try to sketch it out first, even if it's not so accurate. And then I want you to use the move tool and try and get it to be like nice and equal. Just to kind of feel this out. So notice what you're trying to do here is sketching. And I like to make an analogy here that to sketching in real life. Everybody here knows how to sketch, how to draw a stick man, right? At minimum. And some of us here can draw really well. Now, at minimum though, we can draw stickman. And what we're doing here is like the equivalent of being able to draw a stickman, but in 3D. So in the world of 3D, you should be able to sketch out something three-dimensionally, just like how you could sketch out something two-dimensionally, right? Just like how you would use things like proportion and scale when you're sketching out your stickman and things like this. I want you to consider that when you are sketching in 3D. Now, for those of you who already kind of get the feel of this, I want you to now take things in the third dimension. So I want you to use your middle mouse button and just kind of rotate to kind of take yourself in the third dimension. And I want you to rotate it so that the blue is pointing upwards. Notice these three colors here. So I have the green, the red, and the blue is going upwards. So when you're rotating, ensure that the blue is upwards and it's not downwards like that. And that's how you know your axis. And this blue line represents the revolutionary feature in using a 3D program, as you're now able to draw in that axis. So what I want you to do is to take the letter T. For those of you who want something more challenging, you can use the letter E. And I want you to know to start to draw in the Z axis now in 3D. Now notice when I'm drawing, I still get these arrows, and this is how I keep track of whatever axis I'm in. So now I'm actually drawing in the Z axis, and if I want to be aligned to this point here, I do the same thing. I just hover, come down. So notice how now I'm drawing in the Z axis like that. So I want you guys to now continue to draw this T in the Z axis to turn it into a three-dimensional T. So I'm going to now start here, and I'm going to hover over this point here so that I get some kind of guideline, which it should give me. Nope. Nope. Okay. Let me do another point. I'm going to do this one first. This one second. This part of the T like that. No, so actually no. I'm going to start from here and go upwards and then align myself here. So when you're drawing this, I want you to notice that sometimes you have to change your angle. You have to use your middle mouse button and kind of change your view. Because of that notion of you're looking on a 3D object, you're looking on a 3D object, but on a 2D screen. So you have to kind of angle yourself around in a particular way so that you can get a good grip on how to draw. So I'm going to draw this. Oops. Now you have to make sure that you snap so that everything is the same height, or else it will not be filled in. You understand?
God, just let me love you.
And I want you to take time and go around the different sides. And make yourself all the way around. Anybody finished? Did you make your way all around the rest of the T? Now, how you know if you have successfully done this task is if when you make your way all around the T here, if you're like me, then one of your angles is lean. But when you draw the last section, the top of the T should close up. So for me, this is the last section here. So when I put in this last line, everything should close up like that. Now, if it doesn't close up for you, that means that one of the line work is actually lean.
Oh, darn it.
And that will be one of the things that will haunt you in SketchUp whenever you're modeling. But have no fear. If you do that and it didn't fill in, it's okay. This is not our activity for today. This is just so that you can understand how SketchUp works and how you can transition from the 2D line work into a 3D line work. But give me like a minute so that you can finish that real quick.
Excuse me, sir. How do you move one of the edge points, the vertices?
If you want to move the vertices, you would need to go to the move tool here. Let me see. That's the move tool here. And then you need to, when you go on the move tool, you hover over one of these points. If you notice, when you hover with the move tool, it highlights either the edge, oops, or the vertex, or the corner, the vertices. But I mean, I don't imagine that you would be needing to use the move tool. You should be able to kind of use the pencil tool to do everything.
Sure, because one of the something them lean and it no one fix.
Yes, that is your kryptonite, to never have anything lean.
Ah, it has closed.
My suggestion with when you have something lean is just undo and draw it again.
All right, sir. Thanks.
So how do you zoom out? Control minus? Huh?
The mouse wheel.
I don't have a mouse, sir.
Oh, if you don't have a mouse, then you need to use the magnifying glass icon, which is this.
Yeah.
And just click and hold with with the normal click and push and pull the mouse forward and backward. Move the mouse up or down or forward and
Okay.
back.
Figured. Thank you.
No problem.
Just let me go. Congress my power. You got me going.
Okay, so now I want to show you something interesting. Now, if you don't have to do this that I'm doing here now, but check this out. If I'm going to delete these other items here. But if I now go to File and go to Export, and I export as a 2D graphic, and with 2D graphic, I have the option to save as a JPEG, but EPS, this format allows me to save the vector in the illustration. I'm going to show you that. If I save this EPS here, I'm going to call it T. I saved it to my desktop. So if I go to my desktop here and oops, there we go. Then this will actually open in Illustrator. And check this out. In Illustrator, this isn't really a 3D object because remember, Illustrator isn't capable of doing 3D. Let me make it a little smaller. But notice that in Illustrator now, I'm able to select these edges. So all of the vector information has translated, even though this is 2D, meaning I can't rotate this anymore, but it is still fully editable in Illustrator because it's the same way that a 3D program uses vertices and edges to construct a 3D together. So that's an interesting thing to observe, right? Okay, now let's look at what we have for today. Now for today, if we head on over to the website, let me expand this up. So for exercise 5, we're using SketchUp. This is just a quick overview of what we went through. And we're going to do this Lego brick here. Now there are 2 Lego bricks. As usual, I don't want to rob you the opportunity of doing the more exciting one. So we're going to do the easy one. I've put this disclaimer here, says you are not to submit this, because in the past, some people still do the easy one and submit it and say, but sir, you must can give me some marks for the easy one. So you'll not be getting any marks for the easy one, because we're going to do the easy one in class, and then you guys are going to tackle the fun one, right? Notice I'm using words like easy and fun and boring instead of using words like impossible and difficult and hard, right? So we're going to tackle this one now. So let's open a new SketchUp. I'm going to dock this over here. Oops. And I'm going to put SketchUp on the other side, and I'm going to say new file. So let me open a brand new file. Now I'm going to be using SketchUp millimeters. So I'm going to choose architectural millimeters. That's here. That's here, actually.
So you just selected architectural inches, right?
No, architectural millimeters.
Sorry, sir, I never caught that. Can you do it again for me, please?
Just open a new SketchUp file and choose architectural millimeters, working with millimeters.
Sir, where do I select millimeters? Is it our actual measurements at the bottom right?
Well, it might be different from you when you choose. Oh, you just went to file and went to new. Okay, no problem. Now, if you already have SketchUp open and you want to change to a different unit, then you need to go to Window, Model Info, and then head down to Units and choose, decimal millimeters. So I think you can choose architecture. No, yeah, it has to be decimal millimeters like that. All right, so again, you go to Window, Model Info, Units.
That was ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
Gary, do they have key number? Not sure. So what are you doing?
I'm responding, tech support, regular stuff.
I think you were supposed to be doing something and you're gone quiet, so then.
Oh, okay. I'm here, man. Oh yeah, because he wasn't seeing me there. Okay, everybody has chosen millimeters.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So the first thing we're gonna do now, in terms of mindset, I want us to, whenever you want to draw or sketch. Earlier I made mention to drawing stickman and made comparison to that and drawing and sketching in 3D. Whenever you have an object and you're ready to sketch it, normally, well, everybody might have different approaches. Some people might use techniques, drawing techniques. Other people might break it down into like shapes and kind of carve it out. What I want to suggest is that when you guys are doing your sketching in 3D, and this could be like you're interpreting something, but in 3D, take an architectural point of view. And when I say architectural point of view, think about the object in plan, elevation, section, what it would look like, and start there, right? So for example, if I was looking on this Lego brick here, and I thought about it in plan and section and so forth, if I wanted to imagine what, for example, this would look like in plan, I know that it would be something like this. Right? Everybody follow me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hang on a sec there. Okay. And it would look something like that. And that is how we would start. Now, when we're in a three-dimensional environment, I want you to think about it in a similar way, but in 3D. So we're going to get rid of this lady by clicking and deleting it. You might have a different object there. And we're going to first draw this shape. Remember, we're in a three-dimensional environment, so we're not necessarily in only 2D, right? So what I want you to do is you're gonna get your pencil tool. You're gonna get your pencil tool, and you're gonna start drawing. But first, what's the measurement here? What measurement do we have here? Anybody?
80 by 50 millimeters.
80 by?
50?
No,
That's for the square.
80 by 80 is a square.
Right, so it would be 80 by 80. So what you're going to do is you're going to use the pencil tool, and you're going to start here at the origin, and then you're going to choose an axis. So I'm going to go along this green axis here, and I'm going to type 80, press enter. So right now that is 80 millimeters. Then I'm going to head on this axis here now. Make sure that it is on one of the axes. So it's red now. So that's how I know that it's on the red axis. Got 80 there. Then I'm going to go 80 there. Like that. So what this is really this in 3D. So whenever you're sketching in 3D, think about it in plan and then draw it in 3D, but start from it from a plan or an elevation and work your way up or down, just like we did with the T. It's just that now you're actually drawing it in a perspective environment. No, you're not drawing it in a solely top view or solely right view.
So this ain't working.
It ain't
So I'm
working.
drawing the line, I'm dragging the line on the green axis and it's
Don't
going
click
up
and
on the
hold it
blue
up.
type AC.
So you're not dragging, you're not clicking and holding. What you're doing, you're clicking once along an axis. And then you're going to release the mouse, type in the value, the length of the line, and press enter. And
Work, sir.
right.
I said it's not working.
Oh, it's not working. Not working, not working, not working. So when you go for your pencil tool and you click somewhere and then you start to draw, and while you're drawing, I'm not clicking and holding, no, I've just clicked once. Clicking once activates the line. Release the mouse, type a length, I type what now, 800 there, and press enter, and the line will appear at the length that you type. Doesn't work?
Nope.
Okay, that's weird. Anybody else it don't work for?
So probably should have a zoom in, sir.
Sir?
Yeah, sometimes it's small.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
I have to run out for a little bit, so I actually did the actual exercise already. I was wondering if we have to add the lettering as well onto it.
Yes, you do.
We have to add the lettering, okay.
Right. You're going to submit the SketchUp file and an image. Remember, you have to cut the section.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Still not working?
Nope. And I'm zooming in.
So you're not able to type anything while you're using the pen tool?
I think I fixed it. I found it.
Okay, good. All right, now last time we did this, what we did was to use the pen tool and draw up on the Z-axis like this. But I don't want us to do this time. This time I want us to use the push-pull tool. And what we're going to do is use this tool right here. That's that tool right here, the push-pull tool. And you're gonna hover. All right. You're gonna click that tool here. You're gonna hover over this section. And click once and release. And then what it will do is push up the height of the block. So you're gonna type, what's it, 96, that's the height. Because that's the height that we see here in the diagram, right?
Excuse me, sir. Okay. The scale isn't given for the letters for the font, so I was wondering, like, are we supposed to just kind of try and replicate them?
Just eyeball it. Just
okay.
Eyeball it. What time this class finish again? It's 4 to 7. Okay, now what about this circle here? How can we, this circle is obviously in the center of this space, but how can we know where the center is? So think about if we're doing technical drawing, how would we get the center of this space here?
Sir, you could draw a line from the center, the edges towards the center.
Diagonal, right?
Yeah, perpendicular.
Well,
either one can work. Either one works.
Okay,
I guess.
all right, fair enough. Now here is something that you want to do whenever you have situations like this, right? Now you could go for your pencil tool here, which we're used to know, and we could draw a diagonal from here to here and from here to here. However, what I want you guys to notice is that whenever you use the pencil tool on a SketchUp model, you're actually cutting the face of the model, meaning, you know, I could push and pull this face here like that. It's now 4 separate faces, or I could end up deleting this face here and you're now looking inside. So, you know, you don't really want to use the pencil tool so loosely if you don't intentionally want to cut the surface of our face. So let me undo that. Instead, what I want you to do whenever you have the situation where you need to draw reference lines or construction lines, I want you to practice to use the tape measure tool, which is this tool here. So if I use the tape measure tool now and I draw a diagonal line from here to here and from here to here, notice that the line is now like a dash line. See that? And the dash line doesn't mess with your polygon any at all. So for example, if I should push or pull, see, it's still one shape. It's just that this is a dash line on top of it. So whenever you're doing your 3D sketching, you know, and you just want a reference line, always try to use the tape measure tool. Now, once we have that, we have the center of the square, and now we can use our circle tool and start from here. Notice that it snaps to the center, right? What radius is this circle?
$25.
Exactly, 25, because the diameter is 50, right? So I'm going to type 25 there, like that.
They're the circle supposed to like have faces, like edges.
Yeah, it might look like that.
No. Why?
Say again?
Why? Why does it look like that?
You mean it doesn't look smooth?
Yeah.
I mean, you can choose the amount of divisions.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, it might not be the smoothest necessary thing. It might not be the smoothest thing necessarily. Then we're going to push pull this. How high should we push pull it?
17.
All right. All right. So basically we're done, right?
I have the letters there.
Under
Inside.
what was under it?
And the inside should be hollow.
Exactly. And this is where the fun is. Notice that I have purposefully left out all the dimensions, right? So you can have some fun in how you determine what these dimensions are. You know, kind of like when you're doing your technical drawing work and they purposely leave out some of the dimensions so that you use your brain and figure out the rest of them, right? So we're going to do the same thing. So what dimension is this section here? That's that section.
Make it 15.
Oh, you get 15.
Just a guess.
Repeat.
Just a guess.
So it wasn't a calculated guess?
Oh, wait.
Use
Wow.
20.
Wait, I kind of see it now.
No. Use 10.
Yeah, 10.
It's 10? Why is it 10?
Well, sir, you said that the little circle piece is 17. That's less than that. 10.
Wait, the circle is 50, and if it's 15, sir, because if the circle is 50 and the the square is 80 and it's supposed to connect with the edge of the circle, then it needs to be 15. So my guess was right. It makes sense? I feel like I'm making
Circle
sense.
is 50.
The circle is 50, right?
And the square,
is 80,
right? Mm-hmm.
So that would leave 30, okay?
Right.
And if I divide 30 by 2, it's 15 because the edge of the circle needs to be in line with the edge of the small square at the bottom.
The edge of this needs to be in line of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's a fair judgment. So yes, you're right. It's 15. Okay, good. So we're going to make it 15. And how are we going to do that now? Oops. So if we go from underneath, we need to get some lines going like that and so forth, so that we can determine what this section in here is. Am I right? So how can we get those lines? And remember, those are no construction lines. So we don't want to use the pencil tool necessarily because we don't want to cut it just yet. We want to outline it with construction lines first. So I'm going to show you this other interesting trick with construction lines because I want to introduce it to you modeling in SketchUp using these construction kind of methods. Too often we see persons use like the pencil tool and intentionally they cut surfaces that kind of mess up their model. All right. In your assignment one, which is what, 25%, you have something significant to model. So, you know, I want you to kind of approach modeling in this way, right? Okay. So, what I want us to do is to use the tape measure tool here. And notice the last time we used the tape measure tool, we went from one corner to the other. This time, I want to introduce you to a method of using the tape measure tool. Whenever you click in the middle of a line, not on the edges, but in the middle of a line, whether it's in the dead center or somewhere along the line, what it will do is create an offset. So let me click that here now. Hold on. It doesn't want to do that. All right, wait. Right, it will create an offset. There we go. So you click anywhere on the line, it will create an offset. And you just type, what is this again, 15? And we're going to do the same thing for here, 15. Same thing for here, 15. And here, 15. Then now you can use the rectangle tool, or you could use the pen tool just the same and start to draw here. But you could also use the rectangle tool and draw from here to there. Then now we want to use the push-pull tool. Now, the push-pull tool, even though you can push this way, you can also push up that way. So here's my next question. What is this height here? What is that height? What is it? What you said?
I was saying 75.
75. Oh, you get 75?
Because the height of the original object is 90.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have 15.
90? You sure it's 90?
Isn't it?
It's 80, I think.
Oh, yeah.
79, right?
No, what's the
Oh,
height?
it's 96.
96.
96.
Right. Good.
My
So,
bad.
so continue what you're saying now.
96 minus the 15. Because it's trying to keep
Hold
the
on.
same
So this
thickness.
is 96 and you're minusing what 15?
The thickness that we already have at the bottom.
Oh, the thickness that you have at the bottom, which is here. That's how you reason it out? Hello?
Yeah.
Well, okay. I mean, you're warm, but the explanation needs a little bit more justification. Anybody else? So we agree that this here is 96, but we want to know. Oh, sorry, I gave you the wrong height. I gave you the wrong question. My bad. My bad. What I really meant to ask is, what is the height here? So I could know how far to push-pull it, here to here. That's what I meant to ask you.
Oh.
Right. What is that?
70, no,
What is it?
79.
Yeah,
And how you get 79? Yeah,
Yeah,
but
use
how? It's the how is important. So how do you get
same height of the circle that you put that we push pull the circle.
here?
Right. So
Okay. So ideally that is also equal to there.
I just said it was a Lego piece and you're just trying to fit it back in there. So you just cut off the top of the circle and you get the rectangle part.
Ah, now that is a dead-on explanation that is justified. It is indeed a Lego piece. So you know that certain things are going to be equal already, right? All right, somebody knows their Lego. All right, so the height is 79. So we're gonna click up here and go up, and we're gonna type 79. All right, we're doing good so far. Now, how do we work out this section here?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah?
Before we move on from the offset step, if you use the offset tool and type in the distance to move, wouldn't that generate that smaller square as well?
Yes, you could. You could. The reason though, I want you to be familiar with the tape measure. But yes, there are many ways to skin a cat. So I would say the offset tool is another way you could do that. You're absolutely right. Guess
Okay.
what? We have about 3 classes of modeling, you know. So if we don't cover it here, we'll cover it in the other classes. You learn about styles and advanced modeling and materials and all of these other jazz. So you are going to learn about the offset tool. We can't cover it all in this one class.
Okay.
Mhm. Lord.
So I have a question.
Yes, shoot.
If you look at one of the elevation views and the Lego that we're creating right now,
Uh-huh.
at the circle at the top, right, there's a dimension for it. But the dimension goes below, the dimension for the circle goes below the rectangle.
Yeah, I know, right? That's a bad drawing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. All right. Now, what else did I want to ask you? So what is the size now of this section here now? So this line, what is that line?
17.
Okay, fair enough, right? Because it would be the same as that. And what is the diameter?
30.
30? Okay, oh, you get the 30.
If we're using the same method as we did with the square, okay, both sides should be equal, so we subtract. We're saying if it's 50, I have a 30 diameter circle. I give about 10 on both sides.
It's going to leave how much on both sides?
10.
No, you mean you're going to leave 15 on both sides? You get 10. Go on again.
It wouldn't be a 30 then, sir.
Sorry. I wasn't following you. So the diameter of the circle is 50, right? Continue. Go on again. You're telling me how you...
Diameter is 50.
Right.
I will use a smaller circle of 30. You'll be left with 10 on both sides because it doesn't look the same dimension as what we use for the square. It looks smaller.
Well, okay. But we did make the assumption that this line is in alignment with that line. We did make that assumption, remember, in order to get 15 here. So if we make that assumption, then what is this line here?
Sir, I would guess 5.
It would be?
I said I would guess 5.
5?
Yeah, I would guess that it's 5.
Oh, okay, but why would it be 5? Because
15, sir.
Right, wouldn't it be the same as these points here? Wouldn't this here be the same as this here? Because we made the assumption that this is aligned here and this is 15 here.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be less, but I would say that would be the better assumption to me. Now the reason I bring this up is that when you're doing your sketching, this type of modeling, it's not technical drawing now. So whenever you sketch something in hand and you're trying to model what you have sketched in hand, there will be measurements that you don't know because it's a sketch you're modeling from, and you just have to use like proportions to kind of gauge it correctly. Everybody understand? Now, people who are advanced in modeling now, just like how you have people who are advanced in sketching, they can look at you and put a blank canvas in front of them and like sketch out your face with all your details, proportionally accurate and all of these things. You have people who can also do that with 3D modeling software. And they use the same techniques as the persons who can draw. You know, they use proportions and estimations and so, all right, so let's get this done now. So, based on that assumption, if I look here now, this is underneath the Lego box. We also want to get the center of this space here. So we could use our tape measure tool, and we could draw a line from here to here, and from here to here. We got the center there. And what is the diameter of the circle that would be in here?
20.
It would be
17.
The diameter would be 20, so the radius would be 10. Right? So, oops, not on center here. All right, and then we already know what this height is already, right? What is it?
17.
All right, it's 17 because it's the same as that, right? So we're going to get the push-pull tool and we're going to push this up 17. All right, so now what is
left? Can you repeat what the diameter is, please?
The diameter is 20.
Okay, thank you.
A radius of 10. All right. Now all that is left is a Lego brick on top. So what we're going to do is go for our 3D text tool, which is this icon here. And when you click the 3D tool, if you wait for a while, a dialog box will pop up telling you to type in what you need to type in here, the text. So I'm going to type Lego, and it's in all caps. You know, you can see if you want to find the font for it. This looks kind of like it, so I'm going to choose that. And you can choose the extrusion height. I'm just going to leave everything as default and choose place. Then it's going to ask you to position the Lego now. So notice that it will make it perpendicular to the face that you're highlighting. So I'm going to just hover over the surface of the top and click once. Now, when the Lego comes in, notice it's in this blue line. And the reason for that is that it is what you call a component, right? Like a group. Now, obviously, it is really huge, so we need to make the word Lego much smaller. So we're going to use the scale tool. And if you look where the scale tool is, it's notice you have move, rotate, and scale all in one row, right? Those are pretty popular tools to have together. So I'm going to grab my scale tool here, and once I click it, notice that it changes to these green bars here. And what these green bars are scale points. So what I can do is grab the corner and scale it down. All right. I'm going to zoom in, scale, and then grab the corner and kind of scale it down. And then I'm going to use my move tool, and I'm going to find a good angle to grab the Lego at. So I'm going to grab it right at this corner here, and I'm going to just eyeball it. Look like it wants to scale a little more. Oh, I think I made 2 copies by mistake. So it wants to scale down a bit more. So I'm going to grab my scale tool here. I'm going to scale that down like that. There we go. All right, and that is our Lego brick. Now we have one last thing we want to do. Notice that this has a section cut through it. And the one that you're required to do also has a section cut through it here. So you're going to need to cut the section. That is going to be your proof in the pudding that you have indeed modeled this correctly, right? So we're going to use the section tool, which is this tool right here. That's that tool right there. That's our section tool. And we're going to grab the section tool. And the section tool works with surfaces. Notice that any surface you hover over, you'll get this like dialog, this box. So I'm going to hover over this section and click once. It's going to ask me to name it. I can just leave it at the default name, which was okay. Now what this is, it's actually attempting to cut the box real time, but all I have to do is move the section tool. So to do that, I use my move tool, and I can move my section tool like that. All right, and pretty much this is what you're seeing here. Now the different versions of SketchUp, my version shows me the section outlined in black. Yours might show it as hollow, doesn't matter. Different versions, they kind of treat it differently. But this is a live section, meaning you haven't really cut the model, meaning you haven't actually destroyed polygons, because I can move it back and it should be fine. And this is one of the major advantages with SketchUp, the ability to quickly just cut a section.
So how do you move the section again? I'm not getting the option, it's not moving.
Use the move tool.
Not moving.
So how the move tool works is when the move tool is activated, click on
moving the word Lego.
Right, if you want to move the word Lego, so you click once on the object you want to move. So click on it once, then release the mouse, and then when you move the mouse, it will move, and you click again to confirm that position.
I don't want to move the word Lego. It is moving itself. I want to move the section.
Oh, so then do the same thing, but you need to hover over the section. Notice when I hover over the section, it changes color. So that is how I know that I have selected the section. What? It's 5:30? This is like the quickest tutorial because I'm basically done. Ah, that's interesting. Actually,
So
like a
sir,
yeah.
how do you get the sectional view?
Use the section tool. So the arrow is pointing to it now. There it is.
Okay.
Come to think of it, at the beginning, the tutorials were longer. So Photoshop was longer. Photoshop 2 was long. Then we went to Illustrator. But then the last week's Illustrator wasn't that long. Well, the talking wasn't long, but the doing was long. The scale is slightly tipping. Anyway, so you guys are going to build this one for me, right? And notice with this one, I've given you more dimensions. So I haven't left out dimensions spitefully. I actually gave you dimensions. You're going to do this in a new file. So don't do it in this file. You're going to do it in a brand new file. Here, notice there's a submit button. Notice that there's a submit button here. So when you hit submit to submit the work, notice that this assignment requires you to do 2 submissions. The first is the actual SketchUp file, right? And the second is an image file, meaning you're going to send me a picture. For example, you would send me this picture. Well, before you send me this picture, I would probably grab the eraser tool and I could erase these lines here by just rubbing on them and they will just go. There we go.
Sir, for the pictures, how do you take them exactly?
Okay, so if I wanted to save this picture, I would go to File, Export, 2D Graphic, right? And then remember what we just did a while ago when we were exporting as an EPS, but this time we want to save it as a JPEG. So if I go JPEG and save it to my desktop, and I can choose the quality of the file, so I can, even though it's it's using my screen, I could save it at a much higher quality, like, I don't know, 3000. Right, 3000. So that's a pretty big image. I'm going to go to export. And now, if I go to my desktop, here it is. So this is my image here, and it's nice and high resolution. You can see a zoom in. That's a nice high-res image right there.
So you just want to see the section?
Yeah, I just need to see the section.
Okay.
Right. When you're saving your file to send, make sure you save it as a SketchUp file, please. All right. So SKP, I mean, you just go File, Save As, and yeah, save it as a SketchUp file. I have 2020, so it doesn't matter which version you give me. I should be able to open all of them. So 2021 don't come out yet. But that is SketchUp for you. I will warn you about SketchUp. You know what most people say about their first love. They don't forget them. So you have a lot of people that tend to fall in love with SketchUp because it's so easy. And then they don't want to move on, right? They just hang on to SketchUp. But you might find that once you reach third and fourth year that you're going to start doing some dynamic things, and SketchUp may not be able to handle that. If there are any SketchUp fanatics among me, they would probably disagree, but I'm just saying, don't be blindly in love with SketchUp. And
no, sir, SketchUp's very outdated.
Right, but it definitely has its place in terms of conceptualizing, right? You can really hash out a concept really quickly, just like how you can do what you would call a chicken scratch real quickly sketch. You could do that real quick in SketchUp. I think that's where it shines. But once you start to go into now more complex modeling, and I'm going to show you some complex modeling like in a lecture class. I mean, you guys watch Shrek and you guys play computer games and video games, and you know that all of those are modeling. But those guys aren't using SketchUp. They're using like, you know, Maya and 3D Max and all of these stuff. So there are other programs out there. And once you find that SketchUp is giving you a ceiling, you don't want to limit yourself in that ceiling. You start to explore something else, right? In architecture though, pretty much you will primarily do architectural modeling. So you're not going to do what's called, you know, freeform modeling, or some people call it box modeling or solid modeling, where you're building androids and robots and things like that. You won't be doing that stuff. But in theory, I will introduce you to those types of modeling. I remember there are fourth-year students that when they're doing a final project and they have this awesome structural tensile thing that they want to model, and they realize that SketchUp not giving them the tools that they want. And the architectural programs are a little bit technical when you want freedom. So a lot of times you have people who reach fourth year and they haven't explored other modeling programs. When you look, if you just Google like architectural jobs internationally, everybody is asking for Revit, people are asking for 3D Max, people are asking for SketchUp as well. But then you might notice people are also asking for Rhino or Rhinoceros 3D. I mean, there are other programs out there, and this is the best time to expose yourself. This course, however, exposes you to SketchUp as your starting point. And for example, 3D modeling is going to expose you to Revit. But there are others out there. Just want you to know that. So when we go to our lecture class, we're going to look at some of the other types of 3D software. And for next week's class, I do believe you might right, one of our classes, I'm not sure if it's going to be the next class or the one after. The next practical class will be InDesign, right? Remember, you haven't learned InDesign yet. And InDesign is important because that's what you'll use to do your studio portfolio for your design studio, right? Remember, we grade the design of your portfolio in DDM. It's 15% of your DDM grade to design your portfolio template. All right, so we're going to learn InDesign next, and that will give you a full kind of coverage of the most popular digital media software that you guys will need moving forward, right? You have something for photo editing, you have something for vector, you have something for modeling, and then the InDesign, you will have something for publishing, meaning books, meaning multi-page documents. So I will look forward to you guys in the future not giving me anything done in Word, but giving me things done in InDesign, right? My fellow future designers. All right, so that is pretty much the talking aspect of this class. Now it's the doing aspect. So I am gonna, well, I guess hang with you a while if you need me to answer any questions on this one. But I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a
sir.
Yeah.
For the image, to send the image, it's telling me I'm only allowed to upload one image.
Yeah, just one. You just need one. So you don't
okay.
need like that. Right. Can't remember you're giving me the model, so I can view them. Right. All right. So I want you guys to start the other one now. Because we kind of wrap up so early, I'm gonna hang with you a little bit. So if you meet up on any difficulty, you can just shout me. To see if but I have confidence in you. You guys should be all right.
Sir, the thing wasn't able to open because I think it's a graphics card problem. So just speak to Mr. Campbell.
It's a graphics card problem?
Yeah.
Hold on, what won't open?
The SketchUp.
Yeah, but the one that you downloaded?
Yes, sir. I just told Mr. Campbell and he said I should enable the graphics card. Wait. No, he said if I enable it, the computer is gonna start sticking again.
Oh, he looked at your computer before?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. That means you need a more powerful computer. Oh, boy. See if you can go around the back and pick some money off of the money tree, you know, so you can get one. But you're definitely going to need one for CSA. You see, you're starting to go into this 3D thing now, and as soon as you hit third year now, when you start to go to rendering and Lumion, but at least you know the right computer to buy, right? Because we had that discussion at the beginning of the course, right?
Yes, sir.
So good luck with that. Oh, Lord. I know how the money thing is. Speaking of money thing, I just like how I reminded the group this morning, but the census date is coming up, which has to do...
The census date is today. You are so late.
All right. Yes, it's today, right? The census date is today. So, you know what that means already for your school fees.
And if you paid your money today, make sure you send an email of your receipt to the finance department that you paid it today, so they will possibly waive the late fee charge.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so I have to run out. I submitted the files now.
Okay, good stuff. Okay, guys, so you should be good now. I'm going to see you on Monday. We're going to talk a little bit more 3D. And as we move on next week, now we're going to do a little more 3D and we're going to move into InDesign. All right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, guys, good luck and stay safe. Bye.
All right, bye.
Mm.